Kane, it's 1-0. We're fucking down. 13th in the championship. The takeover happened as I said it would. People will be... Oh, when have we got Leeds? Now then, people, good afternoon and welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show. Please, well, don't forgive the rascally shirt. It's summertime, and I'm going out for some food a little bit later on. Just wanted to do you a video, keep you updated on the grind. Listen, I spent 3 hours yesterday in the Brain Factory with Andrea and Lockie putting together some videos for when I'm away. I'm going on holiday from Tuesday to Friday, but there is everything locked off, still there, waiting for you, right? I've always got you covered. Tomorrow, 12 o'clock as well, Counterpoint with me and Connor. Plenty to discuss, not least the Red Bull stuff as well. Just on the Red Bull stuff as well. I'm okay with it, by the way. I just think it's important to have a counter-argument. It's important to question things. You know, it doesn't make you old. It doesn't make you... want 442 and all this sort of stuff that I've been reading in the comments. It's a bit of a madness, really. I can't lie. You can have a conversation, people, right? That's all I'm saying. And yes, look, I've already gone to the dark side because this little rascal number already has some red on it, which I know will be setting a few ears fuming, but here's what it is. Red Bull Leeds and all that jazz. If you can't beat them, you've got to join them, right? That's what they say. But today's video, right? And again, I'm going to put a little disclaimer here because, again, people get annoyed. Yes, I'm a Leeds United fan, but this channel is called the Just Joe Football Show. We do also discuss other clubs and do other videos and other watch-alongs on that. So we are going to be talking about Chelsea and Liverpool. We are going to be talking about the exit of Crysencio Summerville. If it ain't for you, just exit, yeah? You don't need to let me know. You know, there was a guy yesterday who said, I left this video at 4 minutes and 26. You're lying. And I'll tell you for why. Because I reckon it took you about 5 minutes to write that message. So I reckon you left about 4 minutes and 31. But thanks for letting me know, though. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't like something, just turn it off, bro. Turn it off. You don't need to let me know that you don't like it. All right? Yeah. Fried my head, that does. But listen, choosing between Liverpool and Chelsea can be quite the dilemma for Crysencio Summerville. As a Leeds United fan, I'm happy that it's these two clubs, because what does that mean? That means bidding war. Last time they had a bidding war, Chelsea ended up paying 115 million, was it, for Caicedo? Something like that. I'm not saying we're going to get that for Summerville, but Leeds want close to 40. I would argue with these two clubs in the picture, you're going to get close to 40, which can only be a positive, right? So what I wanted to do is have a little chat and little talk over what's best for Summerville, which is the best project. I want you to let me know now in the live chat, in the comments after the fact, which is the best team for him to go to. I think straight away off the top of my head, I go Liverpool. But then, and that's just off the top of my head, nothing in it. And we're going to go through some of the things that I've done a bit of research, had a look at the new managers, which one will suit him better. Is he going to get game time at either club? I know a lot of Leeds fans tell me he'll sit on the bench at both. I disagree. He'll start at one of the clubs, in my opinion, but we'll get into it. All right. In terms of recent performances, all you need to do is look at the league table. All right. Liverpool have got Champions League football. Liverpool finished third behind Arsenal and City, respectively, and were in a title race for a short period of time. Admittedly, it was short. Sorry, Liverpool fans. Chelsea, in the end, managed to get Europe, did get bumped down to Conference League after Manchester United shockingly won the FA Cup. Which, by the way, while I'm on that, how the hell did Diallo's goal against Liverpool get goal of the FA Cup 23-24? Someone's smoking crack. Someone's been on the Herbel. Because Patrick Bamford's, we're talking Puskas level goals. And he don't get that. Diallo gets it for a counter-attack. I might see that goal on Sunday League. A little 1-2, back of the net. That happens all the time. Bamford's is rare for him, let alone for it. Well, it's rare for someone like fucking Drogba, Henry, Van Nistelrooy, killers. So if Bamford's doing it, he deserves every award. So to not get that, and it just shows the top six bias. I'm sorry, it does. It's a joke. I think even Manchester United fans will admit that Bamford's walks all over Diallo. Is it because he's young and he plays for Man United and he scored against Liverpool? But that shouldn't matter. We're talking about the goal, not the context around the goal. We're talking about the goal. And Bamford's dwarfs Diallo, by the way. But anyway, Chelsea managed to get Europa Conference League, finishing in 6th. All right, they had a good end to the season, but obviously have sacked the manager since. So, look, currently, who's the better team? Liverpool. That's not even up for that's not even up for debate. But Chelsea did face inconsistency throughout the season, but still managed to reach the EFL Cup final. That can't be sniffed at. They still got to the Carabao Cup final and obviously finished the season well under Poch. But you now have the manager situation, so does that really matter now? It's almost like a fresh start, and if they get off to a bad start, you know what I mean, you could be looking at a similar season to what they had this. That's why I still find it mad they got rid of Poch. You could argue at this point, had Poch not been sacked, that Chelsea were the more settled club. Really, you could argue. I don't agree with it, but you could argue it because Klopp's gone now, right? And for me, football's cyclical. Football goes in cycles. People have their moments. We've had our moments in the past. Liverpool had domination. I'm not saying we had domination. We should have had domination. We should have won more than we did under Revie. And we should have won in Europe and we were cheated and all that sort of jazz. But Liverpool did dominate. Man United dominated. City had dominated. Arsenal have had their period of success. Liverpool won a Premier League, they've had periods of domination, but they won a Premier League, they won a Champions League under Klopp, they were very successful during that time, would have been more successful if it weren't for Pep and City. Football cyclical. Will they now have some downtime, like Manchester United have had, like Arsenal have had for the past decade, like Chelsea have had for the past 5 years? Football is cyclical. So we have to have that in mind when we think about Liverpool. For me, that's how I see Liverpool. I think Liverpool will have a bit of a downslide, not as big as some of these other clubs, because I think they've got the appointment right. I do rate Arne Slot. Arne Slot's played a blinder, by the way, because he could have come to Leeds United in a relegation race. Said no. Could have gone to Spurs last season. Said no. Now he's at Liverpool. Him and his agent have played a blinder. But if you back yourself, you back yourself. And he was right to back himself. There's all this talk of like who was the better coach when he was in Holland, and everyone just goes Ten Hag. No. I think he stopped Ajax's dominance, did Arne Slot. So I think, for me, Arne Slot's better. I think because he's bald and because he's Dutch, everyone just assumes that he's going to have a similar type impact to Ten Hag. Nah, Arne Slot, I think they've appointed the right manager, is what I'll say. But as I say, Liverpool could now be set for a barren spell. What we do have to include as well, folks, is the fact that Pep's leaving next year. And if you're going to join one of these projects, because that's what they are, the new projects, if you're going to join one of these projects, it could be your turn. And what I mean by football being cyclical, we'd all assume it's going to be Arsenal, but there's going to be challenges at the top. City will not dominate like they have done under Pep. They still will win things because of the way they ran. They'll have a succession plan, all this sort of stuff, but will they dominate like they are doing now? I would say no, because Pep's an anomaly. You can have all the best players in the world, but sometimes it doesn't work. With Pep, it works, right? With Pep, it works because it's Pep. So I think, people need to start to get, like, say Chelsea, for example. If Chelsea's managerial appointment goes to shit, they have to get a new manager. They're then going into next season not ready, whereas Liverpool have a period here of season bedding. I mean, it could go wrong there. It could go wrong there as well. That's why Arsenal are probably primed to really challenge City when Pep leaves. Do you know what I mean? But it's time now. The time is now to get shit in order so that when Pep's gone, bam, and we might get more exciting title races than we've had as a neutral who's outside the Premier League. Better still, Daniel Farke might win the Premier League when we get promoted. Do you know what I mean? You just never know, do you? I'm joking, of course. But yeah, even though we've got these periods of uncertainty at Liverpool and Chelsea right now, I'd say Liverpool is in a better position for Summerville, just because Chelsea is a basket case. I'm convinced that Maresca is not the man. I'm convinced, and I may be wrong. His style, possession base. We'll get into styles in a sec. Could suit the players that they've got. Can he get the best out of Enzo Fernandez? Maybe so. Maybe so. Are we looking at Harry Wanks, for example? I'm not his biggest fan, but he'll be. Enzo will be tasked with doing that role, and will have much more space than maybe he was afforded under Poch, and can work his magic from deep. So be interesting to see what happens with Enzo Fernandez. Not to say he's had a bad season, by the way. He was up and down, but yeah, you expect more for the price that was paid, right? In terms of obviously trophy prospects as well, because Somerville will want to win medals. Liverpool secured the Carabao Cup this season. We're in the title race and obviously have an impressive trophy cabinet. We know that they've dominated for periods. Chelsea, however, have been trophyless now for 5 years. That's bad for Chelsea, especially when you consider the ownership model they had previously. It was hire and fire, but it won things. This current crop is hire and fire, but they're not going anywhere, because I believe the managers they're hiring are the wrong managers, or they're not given enough time. If you've got this project, Clear Lake, and you've got all these young players, that needs time. This isn't Abramovich buying the best of the best. Go and get a Shevchenko. Shit, don't work, bin him off. Do you know what I mean? That's what they were able to do. Go buy the best of the best. This Chelsea crop are not doing that. They're buying potential. So therefore it needs time to fulfill that potential, if you get me. In terms of playing style, let's have a look at the two managers, because obviously I know a little bit about Maresca, having gone up against him this season. Fan of Arne Slot. I haven't watched Feyenoord religiously. But Maresca plays possession-based football. It favours possession, a bit like Pep Guardiola, focusing on ball retention, patient build-up from the back, and controlling the tempo of the game, yeah? A lot is expected of the goalkeeper, the centre-backs, in order to build attacks from deep. Likes to invert his full-backs. It can be a bit boring for me at times to watch. I can't lie to you. Leicester at times were boring this season. Dare I say it, I find City sometimes a little bit boring. I favour watching a Liverpool, for example. But this wins you games, right? They are quick in transition in the final third as well. So while they do have patient build-up, they do react ruthlessly and quickly in the final third when the opportunities arise. We've seen that this season with Mavididi, Fatawu, for example. And when them spaces are ready to be exploited, they transition swiftly, to capitalise on them attacking opportunities, which would be something that Somerville would take like a duck to water. He balances possession and decisive attacking play, and that's his hallmark, really. That's his coaching philosophy. Doesn't have much adaptability for me outside of that. Leicester fans will tell you that. It'll be patient, it'll be methodical, it'll be slow at times, but then they will spring into attack. And of course, you could argue Leeds have been a bit like that this season, really. Tend to play more transitionally than what Leicester have, but how many times have we gone left to right when we're facing a low block, for example? And to be fair, Somerville has struggled at times to unlock that. He has struggled. Whereas we move on to Slot, and this is where, for me, the style of play suits Somerville down to the ground. He plays with the 4-2-3-1 formation, very fluid. Flexibility in both attack and defence. They'll play with two deep line midfielders who contribute to ball circulation and defensive stability. Probably need to get another 6 to Liverpool, but this isn't what we're talking here. We're talking about Somerville and which project is going to suit him best. Now, Slot's approach is aggressive, intense, out of possession. His defenders commit to pressing high, and he prioritises creating chances when looking to disrupt the opponent's build-up play. So say, for example, if they're playing Chelsea and they're playing that patient build-up, he'll expect his full team to press high and win attacks, yeah? But I think the biggest thing, and this is where Somerville fits like a hand does in a glove, like a duck to water, Slot relies on his wingers to create chances. They play a crucial role in attacking transitions and provide width in the final third. Somerville's going to lick his lips at the prospect of that. So their wide players will be involved in both scoring and assisting, which, we've got a track record. Somerville's done that in the Premier League. I think he scored four games on the spin, and he actually scored against Liverpool when we, stopped Virgil van Dijk's dominance at Anfield, if you remember. So Liverpool fans will remember him well. Scored against Bournemouth in the Premier League. Came down to the Championship, I think over 20 goals in all competitions, loads of assists, Championship Player of the Year, over someone like Dewsbury Hall, who's wanted by top clubs as well. So for me, with so much reliance on wingers in terms of creating goal scoring opportunities and finishing them as well. I would argue his finishing is exceptional. So in summary, Arne Slot's style is going to suit him better for me than what Maresca's is. It combines high intensity, possession-based football and an emphasis on chance creation, specifically from the wings. So you're going to get an exciting brand of football. So if I'm Somerville, I'm also choosing Slot just due to the playing style that he adopts. Now, in terms of playing time, and this is where it gets called into question for me, this is where maybe I would lean more so to Chelsea. I want to know your thoughts in the chat, because for me, I rate Luis Diaz. I really rate him, but I don't watch Liverpool every single week, and I know some Liverpool fans are not big fans, you know. He's 27-year-old, he's got a contract till 2027. There could be potential for him to move on. He's an exciting winger, we know that, known for pace, dribbling, ability to get inside from the left flank, and create chances and score goals, which is what you would expect Somerville to be doing. Underneath that, though, Diego Jota can play out there, better in the centre-forward position for me, but also massive injury issues. Cody Gakpo, bit of a dud, not a Liverpool-level player. Probably should have moved to Leeds. That's probably more his level when we were in the Premier League than Liverpool. You know, I think a lot of Liverpool fans would happily say goodbye to Gakpo. Maybe, though, Arne Slot helps him through that, and we see a better player that originally got him the move to the Premier League. But I see, the thing is with Liverpool, they could look to move on a Luis Diaz to a Barca, someone like that, you know, and then buy Somerville for a fraction of what they'll probably get for Diaz. I think they, you know, probably recoup quite a lot of money for Diaz and then just pay between 30 and 40 million for Somerville. But I like Diaz, and I think Diaz will stay put at Liverpool, so I think Somerville could struggle for game time there. On the flip side, at Chelsea, I think he gets in. I genuinely think he gets in, because Raheem Sterling is done, for me personally. We know how poor Mudrik's been. Of course, Nkunku can play out there if needed. He's got the skill sets to do that, but he's more of a striker 10. That's where probably Maresca's going to utilise him. So he gets straight in at Chelsea for me. Genuinely good pre-season under Maresca. I think he plays. I don't know. Look, I know a lot of you'll disagree. I'm talking rubbish, all this sort of stuff, but I genuinely think he plays. So that's where you have to iron it up. Look, what's the most prestigious club? For me, it's Liverpool, right? History and all that sort of stuff. Which is the best philosophy? Again, Arne Slot, Liverpool compatriot. But where you're going to get more game time, I would argue, at Chelsea. But I think if we look into the future as well, like I said, Pep, exit. Who's going to be more likely to have a sustained period of success, or at least be battling at the top? Liverpool's recent successes under Klopp and overall stability make them more of, you know, an attractive choice for a player. But Chelsea is in a rebuild, and if they do get this managerial appointment right, and Maresca works, and the rebuild works, and they spend again, and these youngsters that they're getting from all over the bloody world come and like hit levels that they can, you know, let's not beat around the bush. We know how good Enzo Fernandez is. Caicedo, they had a bit of an up-down season. Cole Palmer, Somerville, I like that, you know, and if they continue to improve, they could become a dominant force. So it's hard, really, to see. We don't know until midway through the season, do we? And then we got, Enzo dud. Enzo Maresca dud. Somerville, you made the wrong choice. But I think for me, overall, considering all these factors, Liverpool's probably the better project at the moment and more suited to Somerville's style for me. But it all depends on his personal preference. All depends on this as well, because Chelsea, as we've seen, have already gazumped Liverpool on a number of occasions. That could influence the player's decision. Ultimately, a playing career is short, and if they say, listen, we're going to amortise your contract over 15 years, I know you can't do it anymore, folks, I'm just having a bit of a joke, but yeah, Chelsea will pay the big bucks. But ultimately, it depends what Somerville values most of his career. You can go get that bag, go move to London. This will be a key factor as well. Exciting upcoming players, you know, World Cup winners and all that sort of stuff. Or do you go to Liverpool, which is a huge historic club, great fan base? Arne Slot, your compatriot, you're playing with Van Dijk, the captain of the national side. The fact that he wasn't called up to madness, by the way. Van Dijk, you've got Gakpo there as well, who also, you know, and let's not forget he was at Feyenoord while Slot was there as well. There's that to factor in. Maybe you might see that as a negative, though, because they let him go for 1.5 million to Leeds at the time. But we know Somerville's very confident and aware of his abilities. And if he didn't see a route in, moved to Leeds, he got a route in. Now he's going to get a big money move to a top 6 club. Played a blinder, and much like Swat has really as well. I think Liverpool's the one. I think, I'm settled there. I've talked myself into it. Liverpool will be the best project for Crysencio Somerville. But I want you to let me know in the live chat, let me know in the comments, any sort of factors you think should be brought into play. Do you even think he would get on at Chelsea? Because I know some people said before he won't, but I think he will. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Smash a like as always. Join me tomorrow as well. Live with Connor at lunchtime for the counterpoint. Me and him have some different views with Red Bull taking over or being involved. So that will be a good vid. I'm really looking forward to it. And then I'm away, but you've got live streams 6-3. Yeah, so you'll be locked off, and then I'll see you back here on Saturday. But thanks always for tuning in. Love you all. Peace out. Leeds.